Podcast City Network.
Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to The Everett Lee Show. A shot of entertainment to the head. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the entertainment.
What's happening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Everett Lee Show podcast. I'm Everett Lee. Quick shout out to all my followers on Twitter. You can follow me at the Everett_Lee, Facebook.com/Everett Lee. Click that thumbs up, and of course, Podcast City Network, the official host of the Everett Lee Show. Head over to podcastcity.net for this podcast and much, much more content available on the website. Well, I'm back after a week. Had to take a week off. Had to head to the hills of Tennessee to refresh myself, collect myself, kick back, drink some Jack and Coke, double shots, all that good shit. And here I am. I'm back in Daytona. But before I mention about what I've done, you'll probably hear during this live stream here tonight on the Everett Lee Show, I have a guest with me right now on the line. She was on ELS Uncut a while back ago, earlier this year. I have with me the CEO, founder of Bouncy Boxer Media, film director and producer of films such as Hot Mess in a Wedding Dress. Welcome, Stefanie Davis, to the program. How you doing, Stefanie?
Hey, thanks. Good. Thanks for having me.
No problem. No problem. Right before we started, we were sitting there chatting and stuff, and you travel, you live, it's on your Instagram and on Twitter, you live out of your suitcase. Where in the world is Stefanie Davis at tonight?
Well, right now I'm in South Georgia, but that can always change in an instant, you know? Gotta live that gypsy life.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly. What brings you to South Georgia?
For my day job, I work in marketing, and so I go to various events and work for some brands. Right now we're doing an automotive event over in kind of middle of nowhere, Georgia. It's a lot of fun, though, but get to play around with some cars all day, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Tough gig.
I mean, yeah, that's always fun. That's always fun. Any type of awesome cars and stuff? What exactly?
Yeah, I mean, we're mostly with trucks since we're out in the country, and so I was pulling a 28-foot trailer with a large diesel truck today around a little course. So it was pretty fun.
Oh, nice. That sounds awesome. That does. Besides your regular job, like I mentioned at the beginning of the program, you're a CEO and film director producer of Bouncy Boxer Media. Can you mention and talk about what Bouncy Boxer Media is?
It's a little tongue twister, right?
Yeah, it is, because I've always had trouble with that. Always, even last time.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I started Bouncy Boxer Media in 2012 because I was getting into writing novels and ebooks, and I thought that'd be kind of fun because that's when Amazon started bringing out their Create Space, where you can publish, and they still have it, where you can publish independently through their platform.
Uh-huh.
And when I moved to Florida in 2013, I started getting back into acting, and me and two of my best friends, Chelsea Wolf and Lexi Balistreri, we got to a point to where we just kind of wanted to see a little bit more happen in the film industry where we are in Tampa. And so we decided we were just going to start making our own content. And I already had Bouncy, and so I was like, well, it's Bouncy Boxer Media, so media could mean so many different things. Let's use that, and let's just go with it. And we started making short films, and this year we made the big jump to make our first feature.
Yes, I'm excited about that, because last time I had you on, we were talking about different short films and short little projects that you had going on with Bouncy Boxer Media. I said it without messing it up. And one of the things you did mention was doing a feature film, and which is Hot Mess in a Wedding Dress. Now, I'm going back on your media right there. I'm sitting there looking at the media of everything on the website and looking at trailers and looking at different things. And one thing I noticed is Hot Mess in a Wedding Dress. Is that based off of Now I Pronounce You?
It's kind of where we use the resources from I Now Pronounce You. When you make a micro-budget features, you pretty much need to use the majority of what your resources are. And after we did that short last summer, I realized we still had the wedding dress. I had 2 bridesmaid dresses. We had all these decorations and stuff. It's like, well, shoot, might as well use that. And I kind of came up with this fun story to where originally we were going to destroy the dress in I Now Pronounce You with like blood and mud and stuff. Well, we got it clean and we're like, well, it's still pretty, so we really need to destroy it this time. And so I thought, oh, well, when a young woman is getting ready for her wedding day, if she's getting really nervous about it, what would happen if she accidentally spills on her dress while she's trying to connect it with it? And Hot Mess kind of came into fruition. It was a really fun film to write, and it was even more fun to film it.
Huh. That is awesome. That is. Just you just wanted to destroy the dress, right? You just wanted to just
oh yeah, and we did. I set part of it on fire.
No way. For the in the film, Hot Mess.
There's some burn marks on it.
No
it's
way.
Great.
How you didn't burn yourself, right?
No, we just used like those barbecue lighters and just kind of put some burn marks on it. Because people get a little crazy when they drink.
Yeah, I mean, especially with a wedding. I mean,
yeah.
My wedding, I got married in 2012. I got married, and that was one hell of a wedding. I drank so much. I drank champagne. I drank. They asked me, "What do you want to drink?" And I said, like, Miller Lite. So every time I kill one, they had one right there. I drank so much. I didn't even get a piece of my wedding cake until the following year after because of how much I drank. And there was so much stuff that was going on with like different food buffets and stuff. We had this one chocolate like candy food buffet. I didn't even get a chance to even go at. It's like, yeah, I paid for it. Everyone enjoy it, but I didn't even get to test it, try it out or anything. And
yeah, weddings are crazy.
Mm-hmm. They can be. They definitely can be. And the one funny thing about weddings I find entertaining is that when you have the bridesmaid or the maid of honor and the best man giving the speech. Have you ever been to a wedding where it just things here and there just started falling apart? You ever experienced anything like that?
A little bit. I've had a couple of family weddings where you get a little bit too toasted and the speeches turn a little slurry, or the best man can't seem to find his words, and so he just ends with, and we drink, and we kind of go from there.
Those are always the good ones, man. With the best man, yeah, just going on and stuff, and then just some crazy shenanigans where the best man stumbles upon it. It was like, yeah, I was with the bride last night. She loves me, man. It's like, no, thank you there, best man. Yeah, just crazy stuff like that. My cousin got married years ago, and at his wedding there, they were sitting there just blasting like he was really into heavy metal at the time. It was the early 90s, like the Black Album from Metallica just came out. He was really into that, and the people that was there got so into it, headbanging and stuff. One guy got so into getting down and having a good time, he basically ran into a brick wall that was right there that was behind him.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then he fell down and he gets back up like nothing happened, and he jumps right back in and starts dancing. It's like, dude, it's like, wow, how liquored up are you?
Dang. It probably didn't hurt so bad because he had so much.
I know. The guy was just like bounced off like one of those super bouncy balls, It's like, bam, back into play. Keep going, man. keep headbanging to the Metallica. But yeah, I'm excited about when you were tweeting out there and putting on social media about doing Hot Mess, and I was just keeping up and just keeping tabs, scrolling through on my feed on social media and just looking at little things that you put and stuff. And you put quite a bit out on Twitter and especially on your Instagram. I like your Instagram because you put places where you go and where you've been and stuff. Where else have you been lately besides going to South Georgia with your job?
Well, in April, I went to Guatemala. That was the first time I've ever gone outside the U.S. on a trip. I went with my friend Linda Roser. She has a YouTube channel called Life with Linda. She's a travel vlogger. And I thought I'd kind of give it a little try, too. And we had a really fun time. And then about a month later, I said, I want to go somewhere else. And I had a week off. I had all these points with Southwest. So I went to Belize, and I spent a week in Belize by myself as kind of a writing retreat. And I actually got a lot of writing done. I kind of solidified some things with Hot Mess. And as soon as I came back from Belize, pre-production began. I was just like, we have to do this now.
That's cool. Now, when you sit down and you come up with an idea or just something that you want to put down on paper, or just on your laptop, or what do you use to write with when you write stuff down? Is it laptop or what?
Initially, it kind of depends. I am a constant thief of like those pens, notebooks, little notebooks that come in the hotel rooms. Mm-hmm. I have so many of those, and I just use those sometimes and just write little nuggets. I have a notebook I normally keep with me, or a notepad, and then I have my notes on my phone. Eventually, it all comes together onto a script treatment that I use on Microsoft Word, and so I'll kind of try to start outlining the story, and then it'll go from there, and then I'll move on to actually writing the script. I always like to get to know the characters before I write dialogue or anything, because I like to visualize the characters, what they'll say, how they naturally move, kind of even a little bit of what they look like, just to kind of get a feel for them. So that way there's a little bit more natural flow and rhythm in the story.
Oh, okay. Now, when you're sitting there writing, and when you're coming up with the characters and stuff, do you kind of throw in a little bit about people that you know and people that you kind of figure, well, I know this type of person, and I kind of throw a little bit of this into that character, and you kind of play around and see what works? Because I noticed on one of your posts that you put out on, I think it was on Instagram or Twitter, where you was looking at your script, you kept looking at it, and you're like, this ain't right. So you basically tore it down and restructured it again. How often do you do something like that?
It just depends. The one that you're talking about is the next feature that I'm writing, and I've had a draft for a while, actually for a year now, and just kept rereading it, and I've submitted it to some screenwriting contests and getting some feedback on it, and just after a while, it just didn't work. So I just figured it's easier to just break it all down, start from square one, break it down by scene and see works, how it can flow. But a lot of times I'll do like a vomit draft and just write a bunch of things all through, see how it works, do some revisions, and it typically works from there. A lot of times the gut feeling in your first draft is a good bare bones, and then you can build off of that. And then other stories need a little bit more massaging. It just kind of depends.
Right. It just depends on what mood and where you want to go at, and what you're feeling too.
I definitely, I always put like a piece of myself.
Uh-huh. Are you there? We're breaking up.
Oh no.
You're breaking up there a little bit. I didn't catch that last part.
Let me try moving to. I'm in like the middle of nowhere. Let's see. Can you hear me?
Anything happens live.
Right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Cool. Yeah, I kind of take a little bit of myself and just kind of integrate it in there. Just it makes it feel a little bit more real, and it's easier to get to know the characters when part of it is you.
Right. Yeah, I wrote a book a while back, well, actually a few years ago. I wrote a little short novel book, and I kind of put a little bit of myself into the character when I was doing it, and I put in people that I knew, and I kind of put a little bit of two characters into one, and it kind of gave that good, what I was looking for there. But just sitting there just brainstorming is just one fun part, because you come up with an idea, and then you're like, yeah, this is going to work, and then you go back to it, you're like, I need to change that, and then you go back and change it. And that's just part of the creative process with writing. It's always something there.
Yeah, but I mean, once you know that it works, like you feel it, like you know it, and you can move on from there. Sometimes the stories you have to piece apart a little bit and rearrange, and then some of them, they just really work the way that they are.
Yeah. You just got to piece things together and just see what works and what don't work. I pulled up on IMDb. I pulled up on Hot Mess in a Wedding Dress. It was on IMDb, and I was looking at that, and I was looking at the budget and looking at all the information there and the cast, and I like the definitely the story outline for it. And with filming it, how many days did it take to film it?
So we filmed Hot Mess in 8.5 days.
Wow. 8.5 days. No way.
And really the half was kind of like just a couple hours at the beach, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 8.5 days.
Wow. Is that the shortest or is that the longest that you've ever filmed anything for yourself?
Oh, it's definitely the shortest. It's definitely the shortest for a feature. I'm used to, at least 15 days being on set for a feature. But when you don't have a whole lot of money in your budget, you don't have a whole lot in your budget, you kind of have to figure things out. And really the only way that we were able to do so little days was by having so much pre-production done and just being super, super prepared. I spent 3 full months from when I came back from Belize in May to when we started filming. Just like every single day I was doing something to get ready for it, and my team was just amazing, and everybody was just really on the ball, so dedicated, so passionate about it, and it really shows.
Wow. Well, who'd you have working on the film with you? Because you wrote the script, you were the director. Who else worked with you in production wise behind the scenes with you?
Well, I have my cinematographer, Emily Vickers. She and I have worked together quite a bit, and we have a good rhythm. So it was very natural to have her on board as my cinematographer. She and I have a lot of the same vision. My first assistant director, which is a super, super important role, was Lauren Rayburn, and she kicks ass.
Shout
While
out.
Listening, you've got to talk to Lo.
Shout out, man.
And as far as production goes, Melissa McNearney was my production designer. She was my production designer for I Now Pronounce You, and she just has such a beautiful vision, and the way that she looks at things with such detail is just great. And she worked along with my art director, Jordan Rue, who has a very keen eye for those little handcrafted things. He handcrafted a lot of the things we used for decorations for the wedding, all kinds of stuff. Like he really had a good sense of artistry to add to it. And of course, my amazing cast. My lead was Evilise Cedras. She played Bella, along with Sean Gloria, who was Victor. They had really great on-screen chemistry. We worked, the three of us worked together a lot on creating that dynamic of the relationship, and we met several times all together just to kind of go over some things about the character's story and just having them interact with each other. for the role, we dyed her hair that bright red. And as soon as she got the hair dyed, she texted me and she goes, I am Bella. She sent me a picture. And then she goes, I'm now going to be texting Victor as Bella. And they both were just super dedicated to it, and it really shows. Of course, I've got, my girls and our lovely bridesmaids, Lexi Balistreri and Chelsea Wolf, who just did phenomenal. We did a lot of improv in the film, too. And those three girls together are just a hoot and a half.
They are, because I watched a lot of the stuff on Bouncy Boxer Media. I've actually watched. I haven't got through all of it yet. I haven't got through all of it yet because you have so much content on there, especially on your YouTube channel. I'm just going through there, and one thing I've noticed you started adding a lot to was demo reels for different people and stuff, which I think is great.
Yeah, that's something we started this year for Bouncy to actually start creating income. And so we cut demo reels. We've also been filming demo reel scenes, writing and shooting demo reel scenes for actors, which has been great. It's been helping us hone our skills. It's been great working with these actors, getting to know them and what they're wanting for their reel to show off their talent. The talent that we have in Tampa is just amazing.
Yeah, I noticed on IMDb it said that you filmed it in St. Petersburg. Whereabouts and what locations did you use? Because I know we had an Airbnb in Pinellas Park that we used for the main house location, and then we were roaming around downtown St. Pete for a couple days too, as we were going to Fort DeSoto Beach. And then we ended at a studio for the very last day in a loft apartment. Oh.
So we had quite a few locations. 2 of the days, though, we were just popping in and out of local businesses, and they were all just fantastic.
Oh, really?
I honestly walked in. I went scouting with Emily, and all we did, honestly, walk into a business, let them know what we're doing, asked if we can come in on the certain day to film and get the releases from them, and nobody told me no. Like, St. Pete is an amazing artist resource for locations, for support. It's such a beautiful, it's a character in itself. Like, it's such a beautiful location to where it's just such a character in itself. And to have the support of our community was just, for, such a low budget film, was just so great. They really added to it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know last time that we talked about filming in St. Pete and stuff, and there's quite a bit of movies that actually come to St. Petersburg and Tampa area to actually film because of the location and stuff. And I mentioned it to you before now, and I always like mentioning it, is that one of my favorite Marvel comic book movies was filmed there, The Punisher, which I thought with Thomas Jane, which I thought was really, really great. And speaking of Thomas Jane, over this weekend, I tried to get my wife to watch a movie that I found on Netflix, and it was a movie I haven't seen in a long time. It's cheesy, but for some reason I like how it's shot, because it's like it reminds me of a live action anime, but video game. Would have to be Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
I love that movie. I just absolutely adore that movie. Edgar Wright is a genius.
He is. I was sitting there watching that, and the one thing I noticed about that movie is just the shots and the timing on how everything goes, and the special effects and how they did it was just fantastic. And just the cast itself, it had some really good characters for the movie, and especially, I mean, you had Michael Sienna. You had him as the lead, and of course you had Brandon Roth, who played Superman, I think, in Superman Returns.
Yeah, who's Captain America.
And
so Scott Pilgrim has defeated Superman and Captain America.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, if you actually look at that one, yeah, he has. And
his ex is Captain Marvel.
Yeah, that was neat, because I remember Brie Larson being in the movie. I was like, what character? Because I haven't seen it in a long time, so I sat there and watched it. My wife just didn't care for it. It's just not her take, and I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna watch it. And there was one point where when Sex Bomb was playing. My 1-year-old daughter's walking in out of her room, and she stops. She's looking at the TV, and while they're playing, she starts bouncing up and down, and I was like, that's a good sign. That's a good sign right there. Liking that music there. But yeah, that's just, it's a great movie. It is. I haven't seen it in a long time. And one that was
actually one of them that my DP and I were studying while we were coming up with our shots too.
Yeah, it's just a great how everything's shot. I just love the angles and how everything's used in that movie, which is fantastic. And one of the things that I've noticed is in Hollywood, like right now, it's like I love the comic book movies, but there's people that I've seen on Twitter. I seen actually a few days ago on Twitter, they had something where that original films is not even like out. There's not a lot of original films, original movies anymore, which is crazy. And I'm just talking on and on because the call got dropped. Welcome back, Stephanie. I didn't notice. I didn't notice the call dropped because I'm going on and on babbling. It just, yeah. Then I just looked, and then I looked up on the screen, and I seen the call coming in. I'm like, okay. I thought I lost.
I was listening, and all of a sudden I heard nothing. I was like, "What's happening?"
Yeah, I heard that last part, and then I didn't hear anything, and then I just started talking about original movies and Marvel and stuff.
Oh man, I missed the geek talk.
Yes.
That's like where I thrive.
I'll mention it again because I was sitting there just talking just to myself, and I didn't realize you weren't on the line there. What I've noticed was over the last few days, I was on Twitter looking at someone put out there that saying there's people complaining about original movies not coming out, not much of them actually being out and available. However, if you look at what's going on in Hollywood with like the comic book superhero movies, of course there's always going to be an audience for that. Of course, people's going to go see them, but when it does come to original movies, they're out there. For instance, I think over this past week there was probably about 3 or 4 original movies that was released in the theaters, which was I think Bad Times at the El Royale.
Yeah,
that
looks so good.
That does. It has that Quentin Tarantino feel to it. That's what I like about it. And just
it's very noir and just really interesting. The characters seem like they really drive the story. I'm really excited to see, especially ensemble. I love ensemble cast films.
I do too. That's one thing I liked about Quentin Tarantino. Are you a fan of Quentin Tarantino's work?
Oh yes. Yes. I cannot wait for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah,
that's going to turn out pretty good, especially with the cast he has. He always has a really good cast. I love Pulp Fiction. I can watch that over and over again. And Jackie Brown. I love the cast in Jackie Brown.
I cannot say enough great things about Reservoir Dogs too. Oh, love that movie.
Yeah, like Reservoir Dogs. He just put out some really good movies, and he's on a roll on with what he does. And original movies, do you feel that there will always be a fan base for like indie films and original films?
Oh, for sure. I think, especially in the festival circuit, the nice part about being an indie filmmaker is that you can make the craziest story you can imagine, and there's always going to be an audience there. There are so many people out here that have so many different tastes that, surely you could throw a rock with your film idea or your out there original idea, and some people are going to catch that rock. There's no way that an indie film is not going to have an audience. I know that's one of the big things that a lot of filmmakers are afraid of, is that, oh, well, if I make this super crazy film, no one's going to watch it. When, in fact, the film festival of stories, and you've already got an audience right there, and you can build from there. I just think a lot of times with the mainstream films, yeah, I mean, we are getting into a slump where there really are not any original ideas. That's also because the higher the budget, the more opinions, more conservative a lot of people. With a film, we have smaller budgets, whatever we want, which is great.
Yeah, I was looking at the budget for Hot Mess and a Wedding Dress. It had 8 days, and the budget that you used, you don't mind me dropping the number on that, do you?
No, you can go ahead.
20,000, 8 days. And I clicked on the thing for the teaser because I wanted to see a teaser for it, and I was like, really? I started laughing my butt off with the little Benny Hill music with the cast running by. I was
like, had a little fun with that. Wanted to do a fun little thing with our casting crew in between some shots, and it was just way too much fun.
I was wanting to see something. I was like, what? And I just started laughing. I was like, that was pretty good, because I look and I see, okay, here's the teaser. I'd like to see what's going on. And when I clicked on it, I was like, my jaw dropped. I'm like, what am I watching? But I was like, I just started laughing. I was like, this is just so great. This is a good teaser.
Yeah, we're still in.
I'm losing you again.
Oh, let me walk to another spot. Actually, just finished the first full rough cut last week, so working on getting picture lock, and then can get all the other components going. It's definitely coming together in post. That's
good. So you're definitely getting the post production, everything going and stuff. When you do post production on a film or anything, how do you approach it like you do when you're directing and filming a movie or any shorts?
Well, post is a little bit different for my approach. I like to it's a puzzle, really. And sometimes you start with the middle piece and work your way around, and sometimes you have to work on the edges and work your way in. With Hot Mess, since we had to shoot it chronologically, and I remembered a lot of the things that we had done, I just kind of started from the beginning and went from there. We did a lot of long takes, long oneers for the scenes, so it did make cutting it a little easier, but it also makes everything feel a little bit more natural. You get to stay in the moment instead of cutting to a bunch of different angles. We keep everything in tight 3 shots of the girls all together on the couch. You see all 3 of them in the frame, and they're all in one shot interacting on this very nice scene that they're doing improv, they're moving, and it just feels like they're right in front of you.
That is awesome. That is awesome. You ever feel when you're doing the post production, you feel that you can go back or do another take, or do you feel that this is it, or do you handle that when you're actually filming something? I
definitely handle it while I'm filming. The nice part about editing your own work is that once I know that I've got it, then we don't need to go again. Like, we can move on to the next one, so we don't have to waste our time continually adding more and more things. Same with adding any close and coverage and stuff. If I know I'm not going to need that in the edit, I'm not even going to worry about it. There's no reason to get it just to get it. If it's not going to come into play, there's no point in grabbing it, which is a little bit more of a Robert Rodriguez kind of style, because he knew exactly what he wanted when he did Machete. El Mariachi. On Mariachi, since he was shooting on a film, he would only shoot what he knew he would need. And that's kind of the way I want to do it too. Even though we were shooting digital, I still didn't want to, we're only shooting 8 days. So you only want to shoot what you know you're going to use in the edit. And we did have some second unit where Skylar Percival, our assistant camera, and Ethan Fincham, there'd be times where we're setting up for something and I'd have them get some good shots of B-roll in one of the rooms. So if I did need to cut away to something, I had it. So they were a great little Avenger team getting that all together while we're moving on to something else.
That's awesome. I like that. Like that, having that right there, so you can have the different angles and just have that team right there to help you out and with what you need on the shot. Now, with people working with you, does your team actually? I mean, they know when you're directing and you give a direction on what you want to do for a scene and what you want to do for a shooting. Does the team know exactly, or do you have to like really direct? What's that relationship like when you're like, say you're doing a scene or you're filming a scene?
Well, the nice part was with all the pre-production I did, I had put together shot lists, and I put together a PowerPoint presentation for my lookbook to where I like to use color to tell a story. And so everybody in the crew was very familiar with the color palette. And so the lighting, Jeremy Westrate, my gaffer, he and Emily both knew, well, in this scene, we're going to be using an aqua filter because anytime that they get stoned, we're going to see a little aqua filter on there. So he'll throw aqua filters on the gels, or they know what colors we're using. The production design team already knows the colors, and we'll all talk color temperature. And the nice part about all that prep is that they all had the tools to see the vision and see the examples that I was wanting. So when I said, okay, well, we're going to do this shot, it's going to be Kubrick right here on the bed. Emily knew, okay, we're going center, nice symmetrical center right here on the bed. And Jeremy knows that it's a nice warm scene because of where we are in the story. Melissa's already putting things together to set the mood in that room. The actors already have an idea of what they're wanting to do for their performance. They're just getting a little bit more acquainted with each other. We would do some blocking. We would get things put together, and then we would start shooting. But there's a lot of prep involved. And one of the big things that my AD Lowe and I would do is we would bring in all the department heads before we would do a scene. We would talk about, okay, these are the shots that we're going to do. This is how it's going to be done. This is how we're going to block it. We're going to start here, come here next, come here next. So everybody of the department head, all the department heads were all on the same page, and we could move it more efficiently. And it really helped us. Otherwise, we wouldn't have made it in those 8 days. We would have needed several more. Right.
Wow. That's a lot from just filming a scene. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think, the director says, we're doing this and this and this, action, cut. But there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of people don't know about, trying to get what you want and the vision that you need, that you want for the film and for that scene that you need. It's just amazing just how that goes about. That's what interests me, is just the behind the scenes on how something is shot and filmed. Now, I know you were excited last year or earlier this year when you put out there on I think it was on Instagram that you got a new camera. What new camera did you get?
I have the Sony A7S Mark II, which I believe I had just gotten right after we had done our last interview. It shoots amazing in low light, and I am in love with it. That's actually what we shot Hot Mess in, was that camera with some Sigma Art Cineprimes.
I figured you would use that for Hot Mess, man. I figured you'd give that a try.
Use your resources,
Yeah, that's what you said last time when I talked with you. It's like you use what you have and use what resources that you use to do what you can, and that is great. That is great. I was looking at the website on Bouncy Boxer Media. I just love going back because with like the content and just everything, I just love bragging about that because I can always find something. It's like my own little Netflix. So I was looking through there and I noticed that some of your shorts is available on Amazon Prime, which I think is fantastic.
Ransom, Migraine Hell, and I Now Pronounce You are all on Amazon Prime. And soon I'm making a compilation of a lot of our shorts all in one, and it's on Amazon Prime. All be seen all in one setting. And if you have Amazon Prime, then you aren't paying anything. But the nice thing is, me as a filmmaker, I get some money for however many minutes that are watched.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I have a Prime membership. I'm gonna have to hit that up there because I always like going through and looking for independent films and looking for independent films and stuff on Amazon nowadays. It's like you gotta look because they cater, because I think it was like this year or it was last year they said something about doing kind of like cutting back on doing the like independent films and focus more on like feature and like blockbuster films. I'm like, come on, man. It's like, just put the content out there and have it, because a lot of people, they're like we talked about and mentioned, there's always a fan base for indie and original films. And I'm excited that I'm gonna have to go through and I'm gonna have to check it out on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's definitely been a good platform, and it's not actually that difficult to put your films on there. If any indie filmmakers are listening, definitely check it out on the Amazon Video Direct. You just have to make sure you have your captions and that your files are the way that they want it, and submit it to them, and you should be able to get it right on there.
That is awesome. A friend of mine that I've talked to and had on my podcast a couple times, Thomas Ryan, he's an indie film director from up in New Jersey, New York area, and one of his films, Faces, is on Amazon. When he told me about it, I went on there and checked it out, and I was like, this is great, man. It's like just seeing a film like this and just knowing that they having that platform right there, because how many people are on Amazon and on like Amazon Prime and on Fire Stick?
Everybody.
Everybody is. What with you being busy and when you have downtime, actually, do you ever take a moment to watch something? What's the latest?
As much as I can. Lately, I haven't been able to watch a whole lot. I wasn't feeling well like last month, and I started watching a show called The 100 from Sci-Fi. It was on Netflix.
Yes.
And I watched Scott Pilgrim again, of course. But yeah, I've been trying to get in. There's so many series. Like, series is the new thing. And so trying to find some binge-worthy series is pretty easy now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it definitely. One thing I got upset about was the other day that they mentioned that Netflix canceled Iron Fist. It's not coming back for season 3. I was like, what? I can't believe that they decided to cancel that. Is that like messed up or what?
Yeah, man. I thought that those kind of shows would never die.
I know. It's like I love watching those shows there. I'm still trying to get through season 2 of Luke Cage. Funny thing was the other day, I think it was actually yesterday, I had some time. I stepped away from doing stuff with the podcasting network, so I sat back on the couch, I grabbed the Fire Stick, I put on Netflix. I was like, I'm going to try to get through Luke Cage. As soon as I turn it on, my wife comes in with my daughter. My daughter just wakes up, and my wife is like, I was like, what? I was like, I just turned it on. She's like, no. I was like, they haven't even started killing. I was like, and then I was like, fine. So I had to get up, and I had to I had to fork over the TV for my 1-year-old so she can watch cartoons. But when I normally do get on Netflix there, I go through and I skim through and I just look at different things, just different movies, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
I watched me and my wife went and watched all 9 seasons of How I Met Your Mother, which was a fantastic show.
I love that show.
I do too.
So much.
I love that. It's just such a great sitcom just to watch. And then they have we talked about it, probably going back and watching all 7 seasons, been watching of Sons of Anarchy, because we're watching the new show, the Minds MC, the spinoff of it, which has been fantastic. It's starting to get really good. And have you ever noticed on Netflix that a lot of the shows that's on there, they have maybe 1 season, 2 or 3, or even 5, and it's a show that they cancel and they throw on Netflix. Does that ever bother you, that you watch a show that's been canceled and you go ahead and watch it, and then when it's done you're like, I want more, and it's like, oh man, they canceled that show?
I mean, it depends. Nowadays it seems that if a cable network cancels a show, a VOD channel can easily pick it up. I know Brooklyn Nine-Nine got picked back up by Fox, but there was a show that I can't remember what it was, but it got canceled on NBC, and Netflix was like, we got them. So it's kind of neat that happens. But yeah, the unresolved series reminds me of Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory, where he couldn't stand it that a show got canceled and there was a cliffhanger at the very end. He's like, somebody needs to fix this.
My wife loves Big Bang Theory, and I'll sit there and I'll watch it. I'll watch if at late night she'll be watching the reruns on TBS, and I'll sit there and I'll watch it with her. And last night was one of my favorite episodes, the parking spot. I love that, man. Naked Sheldon in Howard's car.
Yeah.
That's just great. And then the one where he's in the room and Howard and Raj just trying to figure out what he's doing in the room, and he does that little thing where he goes through a portal, which is just fake.
Yeah.
And he's in there just playing hacky sack. He's like, I'll never get the 43 again.
He's a strange individual,
He is. I love that show, and it's sad. It sucks, and it's sad that it's fucking going to end, man. I had to say that. It's just, I mean, all things, I guess have to come to an end. And I know a lot of people are upset with The Walking Dead for the fact that Andrew Lincoln's leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever got into to The Walking Dead, or familiar with it?
There's a few that I've never watched an episode.
No. Yeah. I've kind of fell off of it because it just, to me, I read the comic, and the height of the season was at the prison story arc, and then after that, I mean, they brought in Negan, the character Negan, who's like a badass. I mean, that's about all, but it's still a good show and still high rated, good TV show on cable and stuff and everything. But other than that, I just like, surfing on Netflix and just checking out what's on there. But that's about all I like to do on my downtime.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to seeing Hot Mess in a Wedding Dress, which comes out on IMDb. You have it release date for April 1st of next year.
That's what I'm hoping for. I would like to do some festival premieres first, but yeah, I'm hoping to get things rolling to where April 1st will be April Fool's Day. We'll be able to have it released at least on Amazon.
That's cool. Now with going to festivals, film festivals, have you been to any lately and been shopping Hot Mess in a Wedding Dress?
Not yet. Since we had just finished, I've just been nonstop working right now, but the American film market is around Halloween time that I'm hoping to make it down there to kind of shop it around. I'm going to be going a self-distribution route to start with, and then just kind of see where it picks up from there, doing kind of building the audience from the ground up and going a little bit more of a, instead of going through a distributor, just kind of going through it for myself and seeing how that goes, learning as you go.
Right. That's always fun, going to the festivals and promoting what you have and what you're trying to put out there and try to get to market it and put eyes on the product and your art and stuff. You do meet a lot of people, don't you?
Oh, for sure. There's been so many people that I've connected with at festivals that I still talk to today, and not even just local people from all over the world.
That's cool. That is neat. What people and who have you connected with at going at festivals and stuff? Who have you met?
I was connected with some people in New York and LA, and then went to a festival last year called Vero Beach Food and Wine Festival, and there were some Polish filmmakers. They came all the way from Poland to Vero Beach, Florida for this festival, and they were really cool. But it's just meeting a bunch of people from all over, and we all kind of keep in touch or, reconnect along the way, or if you're passing through, hey, you want to go grab a coffee kind of thing, and everybody talking about their projects, supporting each other, and it's a beautiful thing. Gotta love the indie film world.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you definitely do. Now, with everything going on, with you planning on going to festivals and stuff, what does 2019 have in store, or what do you have planned for 2019? Anything that we should be looking out from Bouncy Boxer Media?
Nothing quite to really announce right now, but we do have some things in development that we're going to be bringing in on 2019. I'd like to do another feature next year. And then we've got a couple other, I'm sure we'll put out some shorts too. But I definitely would like to do another feature next year, another comedy.
That's always cool to do. And from looking at everything that you do with Bouncy Boxer Media, I can tell that you're passionate and you love enjoying doing what you're doing. You love working with the people that you work with behind the scenes, in front of the camera, and it's just great. And I want to thank you for coming on tonight, taking time out and chatting with me, even, with the drop calls. We could blame it on Skype.
Right.
We could blame it on Skype and just no cell towers where you're at, damn it.
Yeah, I think I have one bar where I'm at.
Damn fucking cell towers. I said it for you. And where can people find more of Stefanie Davis and Bouncy Boxer Media at?
Yeah, so you can find Bouncy on any of the social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as YouTube. Just search for Bouncy Boxer Media. It'll pop it up. I'm on social media as Gypsy Filmmaker, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Trying to think if there's any other platforms, and I'm on LinkedIn. I mean, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, that's cool. Just type in my name, you should be able to find me. And then you can check out our website, bouncyboxermedia.com. The front page has got links to all of our films, and the Hot Mess will lead you to the Hot Mess website. We'll be updating where you can see the film, how's everything going on both social media and the website.
That is awesome, man. I'm on the website right now. I'm screenshotting it for everyone that's viewing and listening to the podcast right now. Just a great website, how it's organized and stuff. And while I was sitting there going through looking at this and screenshotting it, I still see my favorite short that you did. And that's Speed Dating from Hell.
Speed Dating, yeah.
I love that.
Favorite.
I love that. That's my favorite because like we talked about last time, it's like, yeah, we've been there before.
Yeah, that one was our most successful short. Everybody just relates to it so much.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. But I want to thank you for coming on again, and I can't wait. I want to get you back on, and probably I'd like to get the cast on and talk with them about Hot Mess in a Wedding Dress and what they're doing. I'd love to do that sometime here in the future.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, and I want to wish you the best, and we'll keep in contact on social media, on Twitter and Instagram, and have a good rest of the night, and we'll keep in contact.
All right, you too.
All right, I'll see you. I want to thank Stefanie Davis coming on tonight and chatting with me. And you can find more Stefanie Davis on Twitter and Instagram, like she mentioned. And you can follow more Podcast City Network over on podcastcity.net. Head over to podcastcity.net. Hit us up on Twitter at podcastcitynet, and on Facebook on facebook.com/podcastcitynetwork. I want to give a shout out to Sports Sanity Customs. Head over to Sports Sanity Customs. Grab your latest t-shirt and apparel. You can hit up Sports Sanity Customs. Let them know that Podcast City Network sent you to get a t-shirt. City Limits Tap Room in DeLand, Florida, home of Draft Day and Podcast City Network. City Limits Tap Room has a wide selection of TVs to watch sporting events, wide selection of tap on hand, and a menu with food, and the grilled cheese is excellent. So head over to the City Limits Tap Room in DeLand, Florida. Atlantic Sound Records. Head over to Atlantic Sound Records over on Facebook, facebook.com/Atlantic Sound Records, and make sure that you hit them up for that latest CD, vinyl, record, and cassette. And if you're looking to book that destination to get away from it all, hit up Telltale Travel over on podcastcity.net with the Brittany Emler, who can help you set up the destination and getaway that you're looking for. And this is all brought to you by podcastcity.net. And that's it for the podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and thank you so much for listening and checking out the Everett Lee Show tonight here on Twitch. You can check more out of Everett Lee live stream Wednesday, Thursday nights here on twitch.tv/Podcast City Network. I am Everett Lee. I am out of here. I will see you again next week for another podcast of the Everett Lee Show. Peace.